Good afternoon, welcome to our Thursday Live. I hope you all are warm and healthy. Oh my hat, we are freezing in Gauteng and I believe even so in the Noordwest. And Trish's house has flooded this week, so I hope everything is dry by now, Trish. Today I'm going to inspire you on how to change a drab faux leather surface to fab. And yeah, this is absolutely Jaco's bar stools. I cannot look them in the eye anymore. Crystal actually asked me today, am I going to use my house now to make sure that it's beautiful for Thursday Lives? Yes, I so desperately need time in my own house. It's, yeah, we are just busy and it's crazy. How to paint onto faux leather? First of all, let's make sure that your surface is in good condition and firmly upholstered. To make sure that it doesn't stretch too much, because it's still just paint and paint can only stretch to a certain extent. So it's faux leather, it's in a good condition and it's firmly upholstered. First very important step is clean your surface with lacquer thinners, not benzene, not turpentine, not sugar soap, lacquer thinners. I actually can't stand on my feet anymore. I've decided I'm sitting on my table. My grandmother always said, don't sit on a table, you won't get a husband. Luckily, I do have one, I can sit. Next very important step after you've cleaned it, and the cleaning process is the most important process. Detergents, cleaning agents, oils, everything built up on your surface, and you do want to make sure that you remove any residues on your surface before you start painting. I have done it earlier today just to make the process easier and not as time consuming. So you wipe well with a cloth that's really wet with lacquer thinners. You can wear gloves. Make sure you work in a well-ventilated space and you can wear a mask. So wash it off with the thinners, even the metal. The entire surface, clean it well. Then you allow a 40-minute or longer drying time, especially when it's winter. Make sure you allow enough time for the thinners to dry. I have done this earlier today. It's clean, it's dry, and now I'm going to start to paint. And just see how easy this process is. So for my faux leather, my pleather, I'm using the color Olivia's Pale, and the paintbrush I'm using is a Hamilton's Enzyme brush. This is what it looks like before there's paint dipped in, before it's dipped into paint. So the bristles are soft, and this is also how you determine the quality of your paint work. Feel your brush. Make sure the bristles are thin bristles, that they sit well in your brush and they are soft. It's like a makeup brush, or if you're an artist, you will make sure your equipment is of good quality. Hamilton's Enzyme brush, I dip it in my Tjhoko paint, no dilution of the paint, and I'm simply going to apply a very thin first base coat. So the base coat is the foundation. You want to make sure you do it evenly, properly, and a first coat will never completely give a perfect finish. A second coat, and in some instances, depending on the color that you use or the surface you're working on, a third coat, and sometimes even a fourth coat might be needed, especially if you work with something like a foam roller. I'm going to show that now. So I'm just painting evenly onto my faux leather. Olivia is named after the lady that was our first packer in the Tjhoko factory. Today she works in the admin office and she is a lovely, lovely person. Her African name is Nakele. Okay, so if you paint onto a surface, and I'm actually going to do it on the front here so it's easy for the camera to zoom in. If you paint on a surface and you want to remove any streakiness, and this is now the legs of a table, anything you work on, you can use a foam roller. So I'm going to make use of a foam roller. I'm going to try and add more streakiness so that it makes sense what I'm trying to show. Okay, so to even out any streakiness, take a foam roller and very gently, softly, you just roll on your surface. This will create an even finish. This is a nice tip when painting furniture as well. And this will just create such a lovely foundation for everything else that will follow on top. Okay, so this is now my first coat. It's my base coat. And I will allow my base coat to dry completely before I start applying my next coat. And the same steps will apply. So how long do I wait for this to dry? Depending on the weather, anything from 20 to 40 minutes, but I have received comments from the Cape that it does take longer there, especially their winters. They have rain, humidity, and cold weather. Then everything takes longer to dry. Curing time is the time it takes for the paint to really be rock hard, is also longer if the temperatures drop, and especially if humidity is also involved. For the metal, I have also cleaned the metal properly with my lacquer thinners. And now, depending on the surface you're working on, your tools will differ. So on walls, we work with a different applicator than on a chair. On walls, we will either work with a mohair roller or a classic roller, depending on the roughness of the surface. On furniture, we work with paint brushes, with foam rollers. We can work with mohair rollers on furniture, artist brushes. Now, seeing that my surface is smaller and very smooth, I am going to use a very good quality artist brush. So this is something that we also sell, but there's also the description. It's a good quality artist brush. Once again, I feel the bristles. I can feel that they're soft, that they are well attached to the base of the brush. I dip it in my matte black, but this can be any color of your choice. I have a plan for Jaco's bar, a plan he doesn't know yet. So I'm sure the comments will fly in when he sees his bar later today. And I am, once again, this is the first coat. It's not a final coat, but it is your base coat. So you want to make sure it's even, it's smooth. Even though it's not perfect, that's fine. And I will paint all my metal surfaces with matte black. Once again, allow to dry 20 to 40 minutes. This is just to make sure that the base coat is dry before I start applying my second coat. And this is actually how easy it is. I'll show you the bottom. Now for the bottom part, I will not use this tiny artist brush. It will take me forever to paint. So for the base of my bar stool, I'm going to use the same brush that I use for the application of the faux leather, a Hamilton's Enzyme brush. Dip it in my paint and paint. And enjoy the transformation process. This is much more cost effective than buying new bar stools, and it's something you can be proud of transforming yourself. Okay, questions. Are there any questions? Let them fly in. I'm here to assist, and that's also the reason why we try to keep it live, so that you can pop them, and I am here to assist. Are there anything, Crystal?
Madeleine just says her chairs that look like that, the pleather is half off, they stand in the garage.
Okay, so there is a question that the pleather is half off and it's standing in the garage. Can she paint onto that? Madeleine, something that's very important, wherever the foundation is loose, so if there are loose pieces, it means other pieces will also become loose or are already loose. And you need a solid foundation, else the paint will just peel off with those areas that will peel eventually. So we have customers on the Tjhoko Creations page that have removed those loose pieces completely and painted onto that fabric. And it looks beautiful. I myself have not done it, but I have seen pictures of people doing it. But they first removed all these loose bits and ends before they start doing the painting process. I know Trish is on the page today assisting with questions. So Trish, if I said something that's incorrect, just assist me with the correct advice. It's not something I personally have done, but I've seen people doing it. Okay, this is my first coat. It's my base coat, and I will allow for all of this to dry well before I start applying my second coat. Very important is to not apply clear glaze on the faux leather. Tjhoko has a built-in sealant. Even though it's painted, you can, don't touch it with wet painted hands, but you can clean it with water when you have dirty marks on it. So just use a damp cloth and clean it with water. Don't apply the glaze on there. Sometimes the glaze remains tacky on a faux leather surface, or the curing time is just longer. I just keep it like that. My bar stools that I painted during lockdown for the kitchen is now standing at the office, but they are also just painted and we clean them with water. You can, if you want to, you can glaze the metal parts just for cleaning surfaces, not to have a matte surface but a subtle satin finish for cleaning purposes. I like the matte. I will just wipe them clean all the time with water. I don't want them to have a sheen to it. So I'll just keep my bar stools as is. And I can't wait for Jaco to see his new bar. This is going to be a process though. So I'm going to paint the melamine in his bar. I'm going to paint the ceiling in his bar. I'm not sure if it will be Thursday Lives. I haven't made that decision yet, but I'll keep you in the loop of the transition process and show you step by step befores, durings and afters. Are there any more questions?
Lauren just mentioned she did glaze her faux leather on those exact chairs last year.
Okay, so Lauren, will you let us know what the glaze on the faux leather feels like? If it's tacky, if it's fine, if you have any issues with it, you can just keep us in the loop. Just pop a remark there on the page if you don't mind. So that's it. My inspiration for this week, faux leather and metal, and then Jaco's bar that will be in the process of being transformed. I hope that the week that lies ahead until we see each other again is absolutely fabulous. Next week we will stream live from the Potchefstroom store, where we will be busy filming our Tjhoko Champs competition in partnership with the Toys and Home magazine. So next week Thursday I'm going to be in Potchefstroom in our Potch concept store, and we will be painting Loser Storm. So if you're in the area, come pop in, come say hello. I'm there tomorrow as well, and come see how we transform a space for the Home magazine and an amazing competition that lies ahead. Stay safe, stay inspired, know that you are loved and appreciated, and love and appreciate those around you as well. Bye.